Okay, let's do this, because I'm sure that the question some of you have coming into this review in particular, in light of some of the comments I've made, is, and you might have this question with good intentions or without good intentions, but either way, it's a legit question. And that's, how is Ready or Not any different from The Hunt, as both films depict people hunting people? And that's a question I had going into this movie. I see it, it's obvious. And to be 100% honest, in light of recent events, and also the fact that brilliant real-life-based shows like Mindhunter, such a good show, highlight that women are the favorite prey of killers. Well, the weak in general, but women are a top choice, disturbingly so. And by the way, on a side note, a serial killer, ripped from the pages of Mindhunter, was just convicted in Los Angeles. One of his victims, a woman that Ashton Kutcher was actually seeing at the time of her death, and he testified at this trial. Disturbing, weird stuff. So yeah, with all that in mind, again, to be 100% honest, there were times that I was a bit uncomfortable watching Ready or Not. But what I think makes it different from The Hunt are the following elements. Thankfully, it has no political or ripped from the headlines elements to it. And in fact, it has shades of Rosemary's Baby with some satanic aspects to the movie. Plus, there's no gray area here. The Domas family are clearly the villains of the piece, with no redeemable qualities and no affiliations to a larger real-life group of people. So for those reasons, as well as some nifty Victorian-era production design, Ready or Not plays like a Haunted Mansion movie. It's tough. It's splitting hairs. I think the political aspect is the most important. And also, well, nobody has seen The Hunt to speak to this, but in this case, this is a well-made Haunted Mansion movie. All right, so the main reason that this movie works, besides not stepping on any of those political landmines, is Samara Weaving. She is a spunky, more grounded version of Gwyneth Paltrow. Niece of Hugo, by the way, Weaving not only looks great, but comes across as a fully fleshed out, modern, likable, and relatable character. Her line delivery is superb, really good stuff. And she totally sells both her character and the evolving situation that her character finds herself in. Also, the visuals of a woman in a bridal gown running through a grand Gothic mansion fighting for survival are not only hypnotic, but timeless. Brides are a staple of horror, the horror genre. They are in fact even featured in Disney's Haunted Mansion attractions quite effectively. I think the entire Paris Haunted Mansion revolves around a rejected bride, and it's pretty haunting stuff. It also helps that the script is maybe I guess those elements help too, the history of brides and the horror genre, etc. It gives it a more timeless quality instead of, again, tastelessly trying to capitalize off of current events. It also helps that the script is very clever and continually coming up with ways to keep things interesting and the story moving forward at a brisk pace. As for the Domas family themselves, a couple of things actually bothered me here. First off, the setup, as we know from the trailers, so no spoilers here, is that when a person joins the family, they have to pick a card telling them what game to play. And I never felt it was satisfyingly explained as to why hide and seek was the only deadly game. That was the only game you could pick that would result in having to fight for your life. Since hide and seek is not by nature a deadly game, why didn't all the games become deadly in this scenario? I couldn't get over this flaw in logic, which took me out of the first, I'd say, third of the movie. Eventually, I just let it go, but I was like, it bothers me, as someone who's a fan of world building. And on that note, I love the satanic elements and the mythology of the family's history. I thought that was really cool stuff. But the movie wants you to guess as to whether or not the satanic beliefs of the family are true, and the movie plants those seeds of doubt very effectively. I'm not even going to give away the ending. But as a result, they do more telling than showing when it comes to the history of the family, and I'd have liked to actually have to see some of the scenes that are discussed. I think they would have been really cool. In other words, because again, I don't want to give anything away, but I would say in some places this movie is too subtle. There are some neat twists with the family members, though, and even though for the most part you can see them coming, that doesn't make them any less interesting. Henry Czerny is always good, as is Adam Brody. And while Andie MacDowell is game, her daughter, of course, making quite a splash these days, actually a contemporary of Samara Weaving. But Andie MacDowell, while game, she's no Jessica Lange, who Lange has made this type of role her specialty. And that's actually a really good way to describe this movie, as Ryan Murphy light. Jessica Lange, of course, doing all her work with Ryan Murphy. And you know, the Politician trailer came out today. This movie has a lot of those elements, but as I said, it's the light version. So Ready or Not is a very solid, again, Haunted Mansion movie with a great performance by Samara Weaving at the heart of it. I don't think the film would be as effective without her. But if you're still a bit raw from recent events, then you can keep it in mind for streaming around Halloween, when it will certainly be available thanks to its August release. So that's my very fair review of Ready or Not. I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts on the movie, both going in and once you see it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. It would be appreciated. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.